Hey there lovely people, Jonathon Mendes, Painted Love, and welcome to my channel. Unfortunately today there is no paint project. I have a little announcement that I wanted to make and I want to share with all of you guys some changes that I'm going to be making as I move forward in my journey in the paint industry. So today I will be doing a tour of the house. That's if we get the house nice and tidy so you can have a look around. I will be sharing that at the latter part of this video. But the reason that I have decided to do this video today is many of you have been asking, are you okay? I'm okay. I'm here. I'm okay. And that's because I've just taken a good old month away from doing any filming. There are reasons for that, and I'm going to delve into some of those reasons and some of the changes that I'm going to make as I move forward. So I took the month off because I was kind of spent, a bit tired, creatively struggling for the next project, and yeah, I just needed some time out. I had a holiday, we had a great time, and whilst I was there, I was considering that I would end my journey sharing with you guys, which isn't going to happen. I've just had to kind of go through a process of working out what I needed from this. So don't panic. I've made a decision. I'm staying here. So it's not a leaving video. But over the last 10 years of working with chalk paints and other brands, I've worked really hard to bring great videos to you. And if I reel back to the beginning of my journey, I started using chalk paint 10 years ago, so a decade ago, and social media was kind of in its infancy. And I decided to share some of the ways that I was using the paint, which within the first year of me touching paint and doing furniture projects, I ended up becoming a kind of influencer. If you want to call it an influencer, you know, somebody that would guide people and teach people things. So my journey in furniture painting has been quite an interesting one. I started out painting because I wanted to paint things for my own home, and then it developed into, oh, well, I don't need that, I can sell that. So it started out as what most people's paint journeys do start out as. But like I said, within a year, I decided to share my journey on each project on Facebook, which kind of brought a lot of attention to my Facebook channel initially. I did have a YouTube channel, very early days of painting in the garden. And I think some people that have followed me for the past 10 years will probably fondly remember me painting in the garden with planes going over, cats running in. They weren't very good, but they were very much loved. And I think people responded well to them because it was just kind of planting little seeds in people's minds of what they could do. And for me, that has been the most beautiful part of this journey. And I think I've had to sit down and think about why I wouldn't give up. And that is the key to why I wouldn't give up. So I need to kind of explain some changes and choices that I've made. And some of them, I'm not going to explain everything because some things are private, but some of it's financial, because I think some of you are aware that I have my main job still. So 3 days a week, I say main job, I think this job with you guys has probably been my main job. So I work 3 days a week in the salon. I'm a stylist, if you don't know that. I cut hair, and I've never given up on that journey. I've always done it. I love my clients. I love that form of creativity as well. So I do a Thursday, Friday, Saturday in the salon, and usually Sunday, which it's Sunday today whilst I'm filming this, I would go into the studio, pick up one of my pieces of furniture that we found. That always happens during the week. Sometimes it's after work, I go and collect a piece of furniture. But I pick the piece of furniture, I make a decision on what I'm going to paint and how I'm going to paint it, and then start with the filming. So I film Sunday, Monday, I start editing that video Monday evening, and still filming on Tuesday morning sometimes, and still editing. Then photography by the afternoon of that piece. So that leads me to Wednesday, and by Wednesday evening, it's upload, photographs. You'll see them on Facebook, Instagram, and then it comes back round into the premiere on my YouTube channel on a Wednesday evening. So it's kind of like a 7-day week job. So it's challenging, and I think I've probably had burnout, and I think that's why I needed some time out. But I also needed to look at that model for me, and it's been quite tough. So there's the hairdressing, there's my YouTube channel, which, yes, it financially pays me some money, which kind of bolsters one or two. So they're my jobs per se, which make me money. And then on top of that, as you all know, I've done lots of traveling. I've traveled all over the world. I've done this for the past 8 years anyway, but more recently I've done a lot of traveling. And yes, I would get paid from that, but ultimately what it does is it pulls me away from my YouTube channel. That then suffers because algorithms, all of that. So please, guys, leave a comment on this video, because I kind of don't want to repeat what I'm going to explain in this video, so that I don't get asked the same questions over and over again. It's tough. And that's another thing. I've been failing to answer all of your questions on my YouTube channel, and that is just because I'm so tired, and it's a real challenge to get through that. There's a lot of people. There's, nearly 70,000 people that kind of leave messages. You've read the messages and the comments. So that is challenging. So the traveling ultimately has, as much as I love it and I love being with people and teaching, I absolutely adore being with people. That kind of eats a lot of time away from the others. And unfortunately, my hairdressing business has suffered as well. So all of those intermittent travels, as kind of, I've had to mess people around in that job, and I think, and they all know what I do, and they know I'm very passionate about it, but I think they feel nervous and think, oh, he's not there, he's let me down, he's gonna leave anyway. And so they've gone elsewhere. So that business has suffered. So all of these things have amalgamated in one at the same time, and so I've just had to kind of think, how do I simplify my journey as I move forward? And I've made a really, really tough decision, and it's bold, and I think a lot of people will be very shocked. And the decision is that I've decided to step aside from my brand ambassador role with Annie Sloan. Now, that will shock a lot of people, because 10 years I've used a product and I love it. I absolutely love it. And I believe in it. It is an amazing, truly an amazing product. But, and I know there's people that probably do social media and think, he's in a place where I'd want to be. And of course, I know how privileged I am. I worked hard to get to that point. But my brand ambassador role kind of fixes me into the work that I do, the traveling as well, and I probably need to release myself to something so I can focus just on my other two businesses. The hairdressing won't go. I'm going to see that out. I've done it for, nearly, over 25 years, so I'll probably do 30 years of it, and I'll see it through. But, so I'm kind of missing chunks out of my explanation of why I've kind of stepped away. I did this a month ago, so I informed the brand a month ago that I would be stepping down from that role and my teaching. So one of my main reasons from stepping down from my brand ambassador role is just creative freedom, really. And over the past 10 years, I've used chalk paint and I love it. I still love it. That hasn't changed. But it hasn't allowed me to reach for other products such as milk paint, mineral paint. I've kind of stayed, and nobody's asked me to, but I've kind of stayed very loyal. And I suppose I've kind of crammed myself into a place where I feel like I can't reach for other things. So I've decided to kind of resign from those roles and free myself up to use other things. And I know you guys out there will have many different things in your studios and you get to use many different things. So equally, with some of the creative block that I've had, I've done so much with chalk paint. By reaching out for new products, for me, will allow me to be, excited and reinvigorated with new ideas because different products do different things. So ultimately, and it's not that I'm never going to use chalk paint again, guys. I am going to use chalk paint again. It's just that I'm freeing myself up and taking one side of my work away to benefit the other sides that I feel that are more important to me as a business. So it's all a bit mystical, this, isn't it? So ultimately, that's what I've decided to do. The team at Annie Sloan have been really gracious. They know, and I'm just stepping aside. So I will be doing some new things. But before I move on, I want to say, it's going to sound like an Oscar speech, this, isn't it? It's really weird. I would like to just thank some people. So number one, all of the distributors globally. Over the past 10 years, the distributors at Annie Sloan that have either invited me to do seminars, the stockists that have invited me to do seminars with their customers. I wanted to say the biggest thank you to you guys. Oh, and actually, going further back, the stockists that actually shared my work. They shared my work, which made that Facebook thing grow very quick to make me this teacher. It's really strange how it all happened. So I ultimately want to thank you, all of the stockists that shared that work, and the public, and you guys, if you're not a stockist. But you shared my work and it pumped it in front of many people, which ended up making, you created this. You created this decision for me. But I'd like to thank every one of those stockists over the years. My work's still there. If you want to share it, you can share it. It's not a problem. And like I said, there may be points where I jump back to chalk paint, but I'm going to be using other things. But I want to thank you guys because I know it's a tough time for small businesses and I don't want to pull away I'm not going to cause you any problems. You've still got my back catalogue of work and amazing other talented people. And of course, it also allows other people to step into the role perhaps that I'm not going to be using anymore. So there's chances for everyone to just keep on going with that, if that makes sense. Am I making sense? I've had a month to think about this. Who would have thought? Anyway, so thank you to the stockists, the distributors, everybody that's ever bought a ticket to see me using chalk paint. I am truly, truly grateful. And I'd also like to thank Annie Sloan Interiors. You're all amazing. I really, really appreciate everything. And it's not a good, I'm making it sound like a huge goodbye. It's not a goodbye. It's just, I'm doing something different. That's all. But I do feel like I wanted to kind of make this announcement to thank those people as well. Because I will be asked the moment I dip one brush into a can of something else, why aren't you using chalk paint? Are you not using chalk paint? And that's a social media thing. That's the other thing. Social media has been really tough for me. It's hard. And I really want to get back onto it. you know, sometimes it's quite a laboured place for me. And they're the questions that this video is based around, really. I kind of don't want to be asked 100, and I know it will still be asked. I don't want to be asked so many times, why are you not doing this? You know, I suppose why I'm not doing it is because it's my choice. But I don't feel like I want to have to repeat myself on this matter, I suppose. So this is what the video is for. So please like, share, leave a comment in this video so it goes to as many of my watchers on Facebook and Facebook, Instagram and YouTube, so that they can see this video, and hopefully they're not bored with me just all the way through. Hopefully you've stayed through to the end. So yes, a big change for me to be using other things and less teaching. Also, what I would like to say, that's whilst I'm talking about teaching. So I have an engagement in Australia in October. That's not changing. So anyone that's bought a ticket, any of the events that I had coming up where tickets were sold, ultimately I'm going to be there. I am going to be there. That's with Mint by Michelle in Australia. So please don't panic if you book that ticket. PBA, Painters Business Academy, if you're in the UK or coming from elsewhere, I have made the decision to go there, and I'm not sure what I will do. It may be, again, talking about some of this stuff, you know, being in business or, you know, becoming an influencer. It may be staging and photography. It went down very well last year. It's something that's probably my strength in this industry. So it may be that. I will do something. It may be paint. I don't know. It may be chalk paint. I have no idea yet. So I will be doing the PBA. There was a couple of other Joy of Painting masterclasses that were on the cards for me. It didn't go through to ticket sales. The couple of stockists that were expecting me, I'm sure by now I've already been filled in with that event. They've already been taken over by Tristan. So I just want to make, I haven't spoken to you, I just want to make an apology that I'm not there, and this is the reason why, if nobody's explained that to you, ultimately, it's the reason why is because I've just been taking time, trying to find my feet, decide to stay here, still in the industry, because it has been challenging just to make, something had to give, and that's what it is. That's what I've decided to give, because obviously YouTube for me is a place where I can focus, build. I want to get to the 100,000 subscribers. That's been my goal for a long time. The hairdressing just plods along beside, and then I can focus on new things, just new products. All of the other brands that I've worked with, they'll be featured as well. They'll ultimately, everyone. I'm trying to be inclusive of all of the brands. Some people might think it's a strange thing to do and that I may be making a mistake. I've thought about it long and hard. I live by my decisions that I make, and I think it will be good because I'll be ultimately linking into lots of different paint brands. And, you know, I say that if any paint brands want to send me a can of paint to try, I'll give it a go, guys. So I have got a couple of paints already in my studio ready to rock and roll and go with. I've reached out to a few people, so that will be good. But all of the other brands that I use, IOD, Would You Bend, Posh Chalk, all of those brands, they'll all be slotted in around the paint. So it allows me complete freedom creatively to do kind of what I want and connect with different people. And hopefully you guys, I'm probably making a big fuss about this. Am I making a big fuss? Maybe I am. Because I know a lot of you on here, on my channel, are probably not using chalk paint and just retrofitting some of my ideas and making it your own. And that's ultimately the thing that makes me happy. That's the place where I had to spend a lot of time to think about what makes me happy, and then the businessy things came in behind that. So it's the connection, it's the fact that somebody, I can see that somebody's taken an inspiration from it. They're maybe not credited me, and I don't expect that, but I can see in somebody else's work there's a little piece of me in there, amongst other things, their ideas, and I love that. That's just really important to me. It's the engagement that I feel like I've lost. It's, you know, it's Patty in Virginia who, she's a little too old to do the painting, but she still watches, and she lost her husband, and she messaged me to say that I'm a comfort to her just to watch my videos. And that ultimately, that's just one example of something that over the years is kind of been in my mind, and think, well, the connection, it's, you know, even if you're not learning anything, you're ultimately still tuned in. And it's because of a completely different reason. It's because she felt lonely. And if you're watching, much love. And it's a strange one, I know, but they're the reasons why I've done what I've done over the years. It's connection, and I've got to get that back, because I feel like I've kind of just blocked most of my social media out and been a bit selfish and thought about myself a little bit too long. And I need to reconnect with the reasons why I do what I do. Anyhow, so I've done my thank yous. I thank you all very much for your patience, understanding, all of those people over the years that ultimately have supported my journey with chalk paint. I really, really appreciate it. And I hope you understand my reasoning for making these changes into my future. So yeah, new things ahead. Let's see. Next week there'll be something new for me, and it will be a case of you learning with me rather than me thinking I know what's best for you to do. That's exciting. I think that's really, really exciting. So I get to do something very different. Hopefully you guys will get to see me make the mistakes, because I think everyone always tells me the mistakes are the best, because we all learn so much more from the mistakes and how you put them right. So that's quite exciting. Do I have anything else? That's about it, I think. I think that's everything that I needed to say. I just don't want to miss anything out. I suppose I don't ultimately want to have to repeat, as you know, when I start using other things. Maybe I'm foolish, maybe nobody will even notice. Who knows? I don't know. But I do feel like it needed to be addressed, because 10 years is a long time to just use one product. And so I'm aware that it will have, some people have an opinion on that. And so I wanted to, you know, make sure that I said my thank yous, and I really, really do mean that from the bottom of my heart. And I also want to say, because this has been a long video and it sounds really strange, I suppose, to people, every word that I've ever said about chalk paint is true. It's an amazing product. I believe in it. It is the thing that I love most. I mean, I haven't tried the other things, but what I say is true. I love it. I've literally got chalk paint running through my veins, and I've made amazing friendships, met amazing people, and that product is just the best. And I mean that. So it's not me trying to make you think that someone else is better. That's one thing that I don't want to be. I don't want to be the influencer that really ultimately tries to sell you a product. And I don't think that I ever have done with chalk paint. I think it's all come from the heart. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. It is amazing, truly an amazing product. And for all of you guys that love it and use it, keep on using it. You know, it's not me trying to take away from Annie Sloan Interiors at all. It is a truly amazing product. I stand by it wholeheartedly. So that's another thing. I don't want like weird conspiracies, you know, coming from this video that's the issue. I believe in it, honestly, from my heart. So, right, on that note, and for that reason, and for the reason of loving the product over the last 10 years, it's going to be tour time. We're going to go round the house and have a look at some of my paint, just celebrate how amazing the product is. I haven't got every piece that I've ever done, but I've got many of them. Some of them come into the house and then some of them have to go. So I have to sell them on because it doesn't fit in with the scheme of a room. But I've used chalk paint everywhere in this house. One of the places is even on this brickwork. These white patches and the dark patches, it was a construction builder's brick that was kind of very plain. And so I've used chalk paint here and there on those bricks to kind of get that old world reclaimed brick look in the patches. So that's just one place. This table that I'm sat at, this has got chalk paint on. It's a chalk paint stain finish. I'm going to show you all of these anyway. I'm talking about it with great passion. So let's take a tour and maybe the garden. If Mr. M gets the grass cut, we'll have a look at the garden and we'll celebrate some of the colours and the projects that I've done over the past 10 years. So let's take a closer look. So it's now day 2 of this video. It wouldn't be the same without mentioning that. And I've decided to take the tour outside of the property first because it's a beautiful day. It's really warm. Mr. M managed to get the grass cut. So first up, if there's traffic noise, I do apologise. We are on a busy road. The house that we bought 5 years ago is just over 100 years old. It was built and designed in 1911, 1912, about the year the Titanic sunk. And it's in a row of 4 semi-detached houses. So there's 2 there, there's ours, and we're linked to another one. The architect, Herbert Scaping, is quite a famous architect locally to where we are. He did lots of the big buildings locally to us. The building that we got married in, the town hall that we got married in, was actually, and we married before we moved here, which is ironic that we bought one of his designed houses, which is really crazy. What can I say about the house? The garden, there is no driveway on the front of this property. It's at the back next to my studio, which means the garden is left to be just ornamental and beautiful. It could be in a period drama because there's no modern interruption on the front of these 4 houses, which I think looks absolutely gorgeous. So if I pan a little bit up, each house has a flag on the front and each house has its own name. We are Rosebrook and next door is Rosebud. And as you can see, Mr. M has worked super hard on this garden. I kind of think it's really lovely to start in the garden because many years ago, my first tutorial was filmed in the garden and I was working, as I mentioned earlier on in this video, I was working against planes, which I can hear one now, and other things locally around, sound, which is something that many people have mentioned over the years to me. I cannot hear you, sound. It's something that I need to get better at, sound quality. Get a mic, John, get a mic. But as you can see, the front of the property has its original windows, which takes a lot of painting. There is no Annie Sloan products bar 1, and that is right up there. There is a finial on the flag. The flagpole, there's a finial which I gold leafed. It has tarnished in the weather, but it still looks really nice. I really wanted to add that touch of bling to the front of the house. So this is the front garden. I'm going to flip the camera around and take a few slower moving shots that you can see in more detail. So I found a little bit of shade. It is super hot in the garden. As you can see, Mr. M really works hard on his garden, tending all of these beautiful flowers that you've seen. You will see many of them in my pictures, my staging on my furniture. I can just come outside and pick whatever colour, whatever flower seems right. Later on in the season, we keep seed heads. These hydrangeas here, Hydrangea Annabelle, are perfect for staging. I've used them for many years. They look great. So let me just flip you around so you can see what I'm seeing on the other side of the camera. And there you go. There's my studio. I'm not going to do a tour in the studio. You've all seen that many times before, but this is an original coach house. It's double-sided. You can't see it. It ends there. 2 doors. It would have had a coach in there and a pony or a horse for the original owners of the house. I'm going to show you the back of the house first. I think it did have servants' quarters, and that's quite interesting, which is now the kitchen and dining room and a couple of bedrooms at the back. So let's just pan around. The only chalk painted project I have out here is this, and many of you will remember the Grecian urn, which was a verdigris finish. Since then I've repainted. I've gone for a lighter colour. It seemed to work better in the garden finish. I originally waxed that because it was under a porchway, so I had to strip it off, and it's unwaxed now, and it's just baked in the sun, and it's doing really, really well. I did that about a year ago. A few little chips. We had a bad hailstorm and it chipped it. It is plastic, so, but it looks great nevertheless. Okay, I'm going to start the tour at the front of the house, and at the front, as you can see, the door's open. I've got this beautiful door with a round window in, and I've painted this in a deep sort of laurel green, which I think really works well with a lot of the orange tones in the house. I've also got this gorgeous little, where is it? Original doorbell. I really love that. That was there when we moved into the house. So here you go. You can see the colour a little bit better. You'll see me feature this colour over and over again in the house because I like to tie colours in from one room to the next. Also in this corner is a cupboard. I call it the coachman's cupboard. Originally it would have had a sink. I'm going to just prop that there. It's a tight space, so I can't get in. But the previous owners put this beautiful cupboard in, which is ideal for coats as you enter the house. But I think it was the coachman's cupboard, and he would have put his things in there and washed his hands before he collected the owners of the house to take them wherever they were going. So yeah, the windows are a big thing that drew us to this house, and the entrance hallway floor. I'm going to show you, I'm going to pull back here. So this is a piece of furniture that you can probably remember, Gustavian finish that I did on an original Victorian piece. The floor is a Minton tiled floor with, excuse, I haven't hoovered. I've got wet foot marks on it now from being outside. But the floor is quite plain for a Minton tiled floor, orange with the chevron pattern in a black and white and a duck egg finish. So what I've done is gone for the green, which with the orange brickwork and the orange floor, look at all of those footsteps. Mr. M will be mad. So I've gone with the orange and green combo. It's kind of quite a red. It's almost like a primer red. So it's contrasting colours, and they seem to, complementary colours, and they seem to work really well. The lampshades, that is chalk paint, which never made it to any of, it's something that I've just done along the way, and it's in a similar sort of green. It looks rather olive on the camera, but it is a little bit more like the front door in reality. So let's scan through to the back of the house. It's a really long house. Oh, another feature, the lighting. We'll show you the lighting. I've tried to keep it quite nautical. It's a modern light, and just here, those 2 huge plaques, I don't know if anyone remembers me fixing them. They're original Victorian, 2 Greek gods, a goddess and a Greek god. And I fixed them and painted them with chalk paint. The whole of the house is painted in Annie Sloan. The walls is Annie Sloan Old White, and a lot of the woodwork you'll see is painted in satin paint as well. So in this little lobby, another cupboard, floor to ceiling, which marries into the one that the previous owner built into the coachman's cupboard, which really works. Again, the beautiful floor, and just peeping around this corner is a project there in the dining room, which is, again, I've used the green. Where is it? There we go. The green on the lower half and the sort of primer red, country grey, just to tie in those colours, link them from room to room. The other side of the camera is a bathroom, which is not my style, needs a good old clean, but it's useful to have a full bathroom downstairs as well. This will be a makeover at some point when I figure out my time schedule. That's another thing. Looking after a big old house is hard work when you do as much work as I do, and I love doing it. So that may feature a little bit more. I'm going to show you this picture, which has been on many of my staging photography. That's an image that it's a watercolor that my granddad painted, which it exists in the house, which is lovely. So let's go through to what would have been the servants' quarters, which has all been knocked through and made into a big, big kitchen. Okay, so the kitchen has been featured a few times, and the island is what I've used chalk paint on so many different times, and the stools. So the island I made many years ago to fit the space, and it's a great way of adding a pop of colour into the kitchen. And as you can see, again, I featured the green. So this is a mix of Furl and Amsterdam green, and the stools I've used a slightly more muted orange to tie in with some of the terracotta plant pots that we've got in the kitchen. So the staircase is kind of original to the house. It has been replaced, but it is a like for like replacement. And that would have been the servants' staircase. So this would have been split into several different spaces, a coal house, an outside loo, and a few other things. That's all been knocked through. So I'm going to take you up the servant staircase to the landing. So this is the upper landing. This room, which is a dumping ground at the minute, this is my next space to work on. It's another bedroom that I want to work on, but you know how it is in a house. One room just gets dumped on. And as you can see at the end, there's another grandfather clock, which I'm going to show you in a little while, the grandfather clock, because that is a chalk painted project from a long time ago. But I'm just going to spin round and show you the dressing room, which I'm not going to show it all, but this is a piece that's at the end of the corridor, and you all remember this, which is hand painted. So it's a lovely vista at the end of the long corridor. This room is dedicated to clothing. There's a beautiful rocking horse, which was it was a family heirloom, which has stayed with us, but she lives in here. She looks after the clothes. So visually, I just wanted a nice space. And this originally was made for a study area, and I didn't use it. Everybody gravitates to the dining table and work from there. I don't know why, but so I figured more storage and a beautiful vista with having this piece. So again, the green features, I'm going to scan back so you can see what the view's like at the end of this long corridor. There we go. It's a lovely, when I wake up in the morning, some more images painted by my granddad. Family treasures. And you can see it's a really long corridor, and that sits at the end. Now let's take a look at the grandfather clock. So here's the clock. I painted this probably about 8 years ago, and it's actually graphite and dark wax, and it's pretty black. It almost looks like Athenian black. All hand painted with a chinoiserie feel. This clock is reproduction. It had a glass front to it, and I filled that in with a board of wood so I could do the artwork on it. It's got a crane on the side, and I think this ultimately got me noticed quite early on, and it's something that stayed with us and I love, and it's all working. I picked it up for about £30. It's reproduction. It doesn't owe anybody anything. The only thing that I'd like to change on this clock is its face. Something about its face just doesn't work for me. I would like maybe a hand painted face as well. So maybe that'll be something that you see me do in the future. Right, into the bathroom. I'm going to briefly swing over the bathroom because you've all seen this quite recently. So the mural, the chalk painted hanging basket, and it's doing really well. The first plants that I put in this basket didn't do very well. I put succulents in and it wasn't bright enough in here for them, but they're doing awfully well now, so I'm happy with that. And the bathtub, again, chalk paint, featured again a slightly orangey tone on the bath, and of course the tiles which I painted. I'm not going to get too close up because nothing's been hoovered or dusted. I've just decided to just crack on with the video. But yes, all of this work, you may remember, if you haven't seen it, go to the channel, look for bathroom makeover, and you can see all of that trim work has all been done with satin paint. Right, on to the next room. So this is what was my mum's bedroom, and I call it the French bedroom. More recently, I've just painted the kind of mustard shade, which is a colour mix of mine with chalk paint on this cupboard. Again, a lot of my furniture has a lot of reincarnations. I get fed up and I change it. The bed has been painted twice, but it stayed this. It's kind of French linens, greys, all sorts of different shades. And I followed the patterning of the split veneer, which is butterflied veneer. This is all a paint finish. It's kind of what would have been there with wood, but it was really orange and I wanted that cooler tone. Also, a satin paint project, Pemberley, I think this is, which you'll all have seen me done. It's got, again, a bit of a nautical vibe in here. And I love that pop of yellow. The sun's gone to the other side of the house now, so it's not so bright. It will pick up again later in the evening, and it'll be it's a lovely bright room, this. Again, another paint project, which has been painted twice. And this is Cocoa. I just changed it to fit this room, and I'm really happy with it. A little bit of white wax on there, simple. It kind of blends in with the lovely shade of the linen curtains. So that's something you'll have seen. It was blue originally and I've just repainted it. So yeah, different colors. So I'll change colors for different rooms. So yeah, this is the French bedroom, but it's kind of French nautical. And it was my mum's room when she lived with us. She loved it because it was nice and bright and airy. Oh, also, I've just added these lights. I want to show you these lights. They're a really lovely, they plug in, and I think they're really sweet. And you just mount them on the wall. I've added into the paneling. This is a coaster, actually. I've used a coaster. So the paneling goes around because I wanted them in that position. So I've painted over the coaster and hung them. They just wall mounted, plug into a socket with the cord hanging down. One thing that I did do is the ugly white switch, which is here, is no longer ugly and white. So that has got actually Posh chalk with a little moulding. I've added a little moulding, glued a little moulding on, and used Posh chalk pigments to kind of tie the switch into the top. And I think that's quite good. It was so much better than just a white switch. So there's one on the other side. And I've got some of them in the dining room downstairs, which I'll show you in a little while. So I'm now on the top landing. I thought I'd show you these plaques from a better advantage. Two Greek gods, a Greek goddess and a Greek god. And I think they're lovely. They hang there, painted the same colour as the walls, chalk painted in old white, the same colour as the walls in wall paint. I also have this trough, which I did a long time ago. It's a rusty finish. It's hard to see because the light's against it, but that is just a timber wooden trough, which I've added a load of foliage in, which I think looks really, again, ties the green into all of the colours. There's a little mirror up there, which is chalk paint as well. So, and again, another sort of nautical feeling light. So let's go and take a look. I'm going to show you in the master bedroom, but I'm not going to show you everything because it needs decorating. It's another room that hasn't been done, but I wanted to show you a couple of pieces of the furniture that still live with me. Okay, so this piece, this linen press, it's a huge piece of furniture, which again, I painted a long time ago. I've added those embellishments. They were kind of like a resin embellishment that I found on a car boot sale. So that was perfect for the piece because it looked rather plain. And as you can see, I'll go close. There's a little bit of stenciling. I think there was Paris grey, duck egg. There's all sorts of colours going on in this piece, neutral colours. It is, again, probably about 7 years old, maybe even longer, from its paint finish, with the iconic fly speck. This is the resin plastic moulds that I found, which were just added, applied pre-wood U-bend. You know, I don't think there was anything around at that point for this piece, and the original handles, and it stayed with us because I can't part with it because it's absolutely beautiful. It is huge. It comes in 2 halves. I don't know what's going on inside. We normally keep towels and things like that inside, but I do want to show you some of the inside. It's a bit of a mess. Yeah, it's a mess. But the inside's painted as well, cream, with some Laura Ashley wallpaper. Let's flip that side. Oh, it really is a mess. Mr. M will be mad that I've shown you inside, but that's what it's for. It's for storage. We do need to have a little tidy up of this. It's got its original sliding trays inside, which I've used, again, the same colour and tied in all of these colours. So finished inside. It's starting to chip in places, but I love that. Ultimately, those chips, it's only going to get better with age, this piece. The pediment on the top was not originally from this piece. I found that in a store, which I added back on, and I think it looks great. So this is one of my favorite pieces. Let's shut the door before Mr. M goes. When he watches this video, he's going to be like, you could have cleaned inside. I've not done any cleaning anywhere. So forgive any of the mess. We do clean the house occasionally. So onto the other side, there is another piece over here, original fireplace, which I've kind of done very similar. It's a similar sort of shade. Another, it's not Victorian, this piece, but it kind of is a lovely piece of furniture, quite bulky, but it works well either side. And then, of course, we've got more recently this piece, which is another colour mix of mine, and it's the pink shade. It's like a really muted pink shade, and I love it. I think it's great. So let's take a look at the other guest bedroom. This one I call the William Morris room because it's got a headboard with William Morris fabric on. The wall behind is Annie Sloan wall paint olive. And here's another couple of pieces that you all know very well. Hand painted. This one, countryside scene. And on the other side, can't see it for the plant. There's another one there with my decoupage paper on. The plant's kind of molting, but that plant is doing so well. It's one of those plants that if you touch, it just falls to pieces. So that is precarious. So yeah, this room is a really lovely, again, sunny room. And I think it all works well together. So two of the pieces there. I've also got, I'm going to switch to the other side. Let me switch round quickly. This mirror, which needs to be hung. It hasn't been hung yet. It's a piece that I've done a long time ago. And this table in the corner. Again, the reddy, green, orangey tones. The bust was all chalk paint. That was a resin bust, which has had a chalk paint makeover. So it's kind of, let's go there. And the mirror. So you can see the colours. It all ties in with the colours of the house. Right, let's go and look at some of the rooms downstairs. So I've stopped at this picture, which is the inspiration for the countryside scene on the cabinet you've just seen upstairs. That was my inspiration. A lot of people say it's pretty close. I think it's pretty close, and I like having that, you know, continuity. It's a memory from another room. So when you walk around the house, you've got colours and memories from other rooms. There is another piece here, this table, which is a decoupage piece with chalk paint as well. So that is a lovely piece of furniture that I've kept. This room, again, it's going to be redecorated next year. It's going to be all changed. You'll see some of the props that I use, staging props that I've used over the years. This piece was painted a long time ago. This room I feel is a little bit dark now, so I'm going to change the wall colours and punch in a little bit of colour into the room. There I am in the mirror with the cap on. One thing that I'm not keen on is TVs in rooms. I've got a great idea for a TV sometime later on in the year, so that'll be a tutorial to come. An original oak piece of furniture there. This is a beautiful piece of furniture, excuse the fingers. This is from Liberties of London. Again, another inherited piece. It won't have paint on it. It's got beautiful patina. It's got natural fly speck on the top. But it will have to find a new home because something else is going there. I'm going to pan past the window so you can see what we look out onto in the front garden. It's so, so pretty at this time of year. Really bright room. Obviously, there's the houses on the other side. Big old window, big window. There's flies buzzing around the house, so I apologise for that. It's so warm. They're probably trying to get out of the heat like me. So that's back to the front garden. And then there's a leather chair that's painted, chalk paint. It's done really, really well, apart from the cats jumping on it. So if you're going to paint leather, be mindful of cats' claws. It does withstand being sat on really well, but cat's claws not so good. It's only on the arms. It could do with a repaint, to be honest. Another one of my paint projects, would you bend there with a big plant on it. And then I'm going to scan round. Again, nothing has been cleaned in this house. I've not even fluffed the sofa, so forgive the sofa. Sorry, Mr. M. So these large paintings are all painted in chalk paint. And many of you will know the images very well because they were turned into decoupage for Posh Chalk, deluxe decoupage papers. So yeah, they're still with me. So there will be a bit of work to do on this room at some point. The coffee table, which was painted pink, I've recently painted it blue. Let's go the other side. Ooh, I hope you're not getting dizzy from this tour. There you go. I popped a little pop of blue in this room because of the blue cushions and the blue china. It needs a little bit of work. Again, when you are a furniture painter, you can't make your decisions when it comes to choosing things. So into the next room, I call this the winter lounge. We have a summer lounge and a winter lounge. And the first up is a piece that you all will have seen, I'm pretty sure. And that is this decoupaged piece of furniture. That still lives with us. Chalk paint, faux marble top, recently refreshed. The lamp, which has been in many images in my in some of my staging, all chalk paint, the lampshade as well. Scanning over to, excuse the finger in the bad camera work, is the fireplace. That's satin paint, which is a mix. It's close to olive, but I mixed a few colours, carnaby and graphite, I think, to get that olive shade. Again, another telly. Don't like tellies on show. So this telly's going to be replaced. It's going on the wall, and we're going to get a Samsung frame TV. I'm going to sit on the edge here so you can all see me in the TV. But this is, again, another colour mix, and I love it. Absolutely love it. And it works really well in this room. Sort of the greeny reds. That theme runs throughout this house. So I've got out of breath from running around. This table, beautiful table, white and green. So there's a few things. That's quite an interesting view down the side of the house. Mr. M's shed, and we have lots of green plants in a little courtyard with the orange brick walls. So that's something I was going to mention in the kitchen. Because a lot of the windows look out onto orange brick is why I've mixed the orange and green together. You can see orange and green. I've brought it into the property. I feel like it just works. So the final place to look at is the dining room. So let's head off to the dining room and look at a few things in there that are painted, and that will be just about the tour done. So I mentioned at the end of my announcement that the brickwork was painted in chalk paint. I'll give you a close-up. It's just kind of applied with an old credit card to get that textural finish. Equally, the tiles were painted with my own design of stencil, which Dovetails did for me, that one. That was very kind of them. Perrier Dovetails, thank you very much. I've used it a few times. It's also on the little table in the corner. The table is chalk painted, and that's like a duck egg shade on the lower half. Again, lots of green and orange outside. And then let's see if I can show you another gorgeous cupboard in there. So let's pan round. This is old white country grey and duck egg inside. And that's been with us for a long, long time. And it really, really works. Again, these lovely little lights. I love them. Again, the switch has been done. It looks gorgeous at night. So yeah, there's the table again in its entirety. Can you see how that ties in the orange and the green? So that is a running theme I have, and the nice scratch pole. I'm just going to scan over so you can see some of the artwork on the walls. Some of these are my granddad's images. I haven't quite decided which. These watercolours are my granddad's artwork, which are really, really lovely. And I've hung some keys there, which I think looks really, really nice. So that just about completes my tour of the House of Mendes. If you've stayed through to the end, I am super, super grateful that you did. And I want to say the hugest of thank yous once again for everyone that supported me over the years using chalk paint. Again, I will say it once more, it truly is an amazing product. And as you can see, it's been used a lot of times in this house. So wherever the journey takes me next, I don't know. But I'm hoping it will be to much more creativity, and I can bring you so much more through my channel. I really, really appreciate all of your support. Don't forget, if you're still here, like, comment, subscribe if you're new. You're probably not with this video. and hopefully it'll push it out to more people. The final thing that I'm going to do is leave you with some images from my tours of teaching globally around the world with lots of people, and a few happy memories, maybe a few projects. So stick around for them at the end. Just take a look. You might even find yourself in those images if you attended one of my classes. Anyhow, thank you once again. Much love. I will see you all very soon.